Hi and welcome to School Shorts with me, Melissa Chan Green, journalist and mum of two with an interest in education, and talking today about a topic that is close to my heart, one that I think is really important to discuss on School Shorts, and that is dyslexia. This has resonated with a lot of you when we've spoken about it before, but I felt it was really important to get a family's perspective from the perspective of the student and what that kind of journey has been like. So very happy to have Matthias Eriksson share his story with us today, joined by his dad, Arvid.
Hello.
Arvid and Matthias, thank you so much for being with us. It's a real privilege to have you and have you share your story today.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to be here. Privilege, yeah.
Matthias, I'll start with you because this really is your story, and it's a remarkable story that I think will help a lot of families. When were the first signs that you felt that maybe you were having some challenges, or was that something you didn't really know at such a young age?
I think I kind of knew that I was a bit different very early on, but I didn't know what dyslexia was, obviously, so I don't know, I kind of just didn't really think about it that much. But,
when you say early on, kind of what age do you think you might have felt that?
Like year 1, year 3, year 2, something like that.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Because a lot of teachers and educators we speak to on the podcast do say how important it is to make children at that young age feel like successful learners.
Yeah.
Arvid, were you seeing the signs at that age, or had you seen it earlier?
I think me and my wife, Philippa, Philippa in particular saw signs quite early on, like preschool, really. So at that time, we didn't really know that much about dyslexia. So it's been a journey, but we spoke to people and we started reaching out in a lot of different ways to kind of try to get a handle on what was happening. But I think Philippa spent a lot of time at Play Center and other places like that with other kids and other parents, and that kind of gave her a unique perspective, I'd say, to kind of see that maybe Matthias and his sister needed some different help. Some
scaffolding there, and it is going to be different for every family, and particularly at that age. So I'm going to ask you this question, but for families listening, I just want to caveat this by saying that this doesn't mean every child who might be showing that is going to have these signs. But, you know, when you talk about preschool, what were some examples maybe that there was a difference?
Well, it's a real shame that my wife can't be here because she was really the one that sort of drove this, especially in the early days. But I think flipping letters around and just the ability to decode and comprehend and take on text and letters.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because at that age, you don't read as such, right? Like you're just starting out. But already there, we sort of, it's a hunch, right? And like you said, it's a complex thing. So it's not just one type of problem or one easy solution. It's lots of different aspects to dyslexia and dysgraphia and dyscalculia as well as a different thing. But you know, like it's all one. So you got to kind of decipher and go on a journey.
Yeah, and those things do often coexist, that dyscalculia and dysgraphia, and for people who aren't sure what those words mean, there are other episodes where we go into those in some depth too. Yeah. Matthias, when you think about your first journey into writing and reading, I'm asking you to call some pretty early memories here, but what do you remember about how that was before you got some assistance, which we'll talk about soon?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like a couple areas where I found it really difficult. Like, I mean, it's like spelling and handwriting and like reading, those were super difficult for me. And I noticed that I was like very slow at reading, and I didn't really pick it up until much later compared to other kids.
So at what point did you start getting some assistance? And I know it was quite a journey because you reached out to a lot of people,
Yeah.
but when did you feel you really started getting some impactful assistance?
It would have been like a little bit after I started with my tutor Roz, which was like year 1, right? Or
I don't know, but yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
I can't
Yeah.
really remember.
Quite early on.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
been with Roz for a very long time. So
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
remember what it felt like to start feeling like you were making some progress?
yeah, I totally did. Like, I remember it was with my handwriting. Like, I couldn't really form my letters very well. It was like, you couldn't really read it at all. But then I started to, and started to notice, like, in class that I could actually write stuff and the teacher could actually read it. I think that was when, yeah.
Do you remember how that made you feel about school and learning at that age?
I mean, it made me feel a lot better. I mean, I can't remember super well, but
It's a long time ago now.
but like, yeah, before that, I don't know, just wasn't really picking it up, but I didn't really know what I was supposed to do and what I was doing wrong. But then I started to realize that it was what was happening, yeah.
And this is a tutor with Spelled, isn't it? Arvid, how did you get on to Spelled and kind of, can you explain a little bit about the way in which they work?
Yes. So it was a quite a long journey to Spelled for us.
As in, there were a lot of things that kind of didn't work along the way?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. We tried a lot of other types of help that didn't quite hit the mark for us. But again, it's so individual, so it might work for someone else, but it didn't work for us. So sort of a bit of a trial and error, and we kept on searching and kept on listening to Matthias's problems and needs and tried to kind of understand that dialogue. And eventually we found Ross, who's a Spelled tutor, who is amazing. And it was really kind of word of mouth almost. And she is a tutor who understands how the brain works, if you'd like. This is me trying to explain what she does, and I don't really, probably
You're doing
not using the
very
right
well.
terms. But,
No,
from my parent perspective, she has got a real good grip on what's going on from a scientific perspective and from an educational perspective. So she's got all these methods and methods and ways of doing things, little rituals almost, you know.
It's aligned with basically the science of reading, isn't
Correct.
it? And the way that our brain learns to read and the particular scope and sequence in which you learn to do that.
And it's quite fascinating. Like it's really, really interesting. I've learned a lot about myself from this journey. But yeah, so
When you say you've learnt a lot about yourself, because a lot of parents say that they start to see the challenges in their children and go, hang on a minute,
Absolutely.
there's a light bulb moment here.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love to get diagnosed myself. that might be happening soon. But
Right.
I'm probably dyslexic. Yeah.
Yeah. And how has that impacted you, do you think, over your life?
Massively, I think. I think I have felt quite dumb at times in my life. You know, possibly because of this. So that's something I'm still working on.
And that is so sad because we know so much more about dyslexia now. We know that actually there's a real advantage in the way that you can think with dyslexia too.
Which is also something I know about myself. You know, so it's it's not just one thing, is it? Life, it's many parallel things. So
Yeah.
I know I'm really good at some things, which might be because of how my brain works.
Yeah.
And I can see how I can come to some things really quickly and easily, and I use it in my job, and it's what I do, you know.
Because you're a creative, which is
I'm a
often
filmmaker. I sequence images into stories, you know, and that's words in a way, but like images and words, you know, and I love that. I really love my job, and I'm feel really lucky to have those skills and to be able to, you know, use them and become even better at that.
Matthias, what is it like for you to hear your dad talk about the fact that he may potentially have had the same challenges as you, but he's kind of only really realising so much later in life, and you're really being able to kind of see that now and put some scaffolds in place for your learning?
Yeah.
How does it feel to hear him say that?
I think it's good, because it's like, I know that, because like, it's really cool what you do. You're pretty cool, Dad. So it's like, you know, it's like, and we have very similar minds. We kind of realized that a while ago. It's like, we think in very similar ways. And I think it's kind of quite cool that you're doing what you're doing, and that.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah.
That's really special. And, you know, does it make you feel differently potentially about what dyslexia is, and the barriers, but also the opportunities when you see someone who is so close to you and has been successful in what they do?
Totally, yeah. Because I definitely think Dad has dyslexia. So it's like,
there you go, diagnosed.
There you go, diagnosed.
no offense. No, it's a good thing. But yeah, so it's really good, because I know, like, it's not just me. Because like I know my sister has dyslexia, but it's good to see like an adult who has dyslexia, you know, and it's a lot of people have dyslexia.
Yeah, I think so. It's again, looking at how Ross has sort of explained and exposed pressure points, like where you can go in and understand quite specific things around how you process text and so on, and build structures around that, looking at how she teaches my kids, but then looking at how I operate in my adult life, like I think with my pen kind of thing. So it's a very visual thing. And if I need to remember something, I've discovered through meeting Ross that if I pin whatever I need to remember around an image, I'll just remember it.
Right.
So that is something I have learned about myself through
From Ross,
what these guys are doing, and it's really interesting.
So
it's fascinating.
It's thinking more in terms of images in your mind.
Yeah.
Is it?
So if I had met someone like Ross when I was younger, and they had helped me to kind of find strategies to support me in places where I might have been challenged, I think that could have been so good for my self-esteem, but not just that, like also in a real practical, study for an exam, or study to get a driving license, or just operate with people and names and names of places, names of people, and all this. And if I had techniques, the kind of techniques that Ross is teaching these guys, that would have been cool, you know.
Yeah,
really good. Really good. So I'm
totally.
glad that you guys are on this. This is how my brain works type journey.
How do you find school now, Matthias? Because what year are you in now?
I'm in year 9.
So how do you still find you're working harder than other students, or do you still find that there is a challenge there for you?
Yeah, it is a lot more difficult. I'm in accelerate English at my school, so I don't know. I don't really know how, but
That's incredible.
yeah, it's something
Well done,
I'm
you.
quite proud of. But so it does make it a lot difficult. It's because we're basically doing year 10 English, I'm pretty sure. So it does make things a lot more difficult, and I do notice that I'm a bit slower at reading than the other students, and I can't write as fast. But my teachers actually let me use my laptop for all the writing on like keyboard and mouse.
Well, because that's the thing that often, it doesn't take away from the thoughts you have, right? Like your thoughts could be so far advanced, and it's the communication of that sometimes that might be difficult.
I think that's actually what dysgraphia is, isn't it? Dysgraphia is putting like getting ideas down, I'm pretty sure.
Don't look at me.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to give scientific advice on that one either.
I'm not actually sure.
Let's move on.
It's kind of in the back of my mind,
reference that one.
Yeah, it might not be true.
Matthias, what do you feel about the way in which people view dyslexia at school? Are there misconceptions about what it is?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I was talking to my friend the other day. I told him I had dyslexia, and he was like, "Oh, no, you don't. You're reading stuff off the board." And it's a bit like, 1 in 5 people have dyslexia. That's like a lot of people. It's kind of strange that a lot of people don't actually know what dyslexia is. They think dyslexic people can't read.
So do you think, is there a stigma? Do you feel a stigma sometimes?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely.
How do you feel about the way in which it is supported at school? I guess you can only talk about your own experience. But
yeah, I mean, a lot of people are very supportive. And yeah, I do get support. I get sometimes I get a reader writer to like read stuff out, which isn't like super helpful for me because reading isn't that bad, writing isn't that bad. But sometimes I'll get a computer, and that really helps. I'll go into a separate room with my device, and I can type stuff out, and it means that I can write a lot more. And it's good that I'm not alone.
Yeah,
and that people are, that my school is trying to help, and they are doing pretty well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say to families who are listening to this and may have children who are either younger than you or at the same age? Like, what would your advice be to them? I guess maybe in terms of what could they say to their children about having dyslexia that might make them feel positive,
It's actually a pretty normal thing. It's not like that. You're not that different to everyone else. Your brain just works a little differently, It's and it's a superpower, really. Like, there's so many great people who now we think actually have dyslexia, like Albert Einstein.
Absolutely. So many entrepreneurs are dyslexic.
Yeah.
Arvid, what advice would you give to families?
I knew this question would come, so I had a chat to
something
my...
prepared earlier.
Yeah, something I prepared earlier. No, but it's such. I really want to, or we really wanted to get it right to take this opportunity to actually, So I had a chat with Philippa, my wife, this morning, and hang in there.
It gets better.
Yeah, it gets better, and there is help. And we were so distraught or so worried, and in the early days, I remember you guys coming home from school, and you just simply couldn't read what they'd written or what Matthias had written. It's like, oh my, how is this going to work out? And now the handwriting, Matthias' handwriting is amazing,
so much,
and he's in advanced English, and all these amazing things have happened. And of course, kids grow up and they just miraculously change into these able people. But for students with dyslexia, right? Absolutely,
you can't just go, well, it'll just fall into place at some point.
No, exactly.
Because it hasn't yet.
There is help.
Really.
Yeah, and for us, it was Ross and spelled, and that the scientific aspect of it, or her methods, just seem to be so grounded, and it just gives you a calm sense of direction. Like, we're onto something. And when you start to see the early results, like, okay, this is working, this makes sense.
Very
Let's
organized.
just, it's organized. That's right. And methodological.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is just so helpful. Yeah.
And good to know, because as parents, you know, when your children are quite young, before they go to school, you kind of want to do everything you can to set them up for success when they start school. And there's a lot of, well, I probably speak from my own experience, but there's parent guilt about all sorts of things. And if you feel like, oh, my child is not kind of doing what I would expect them to be doing here, often parents look at themselves and go, what am I doing wrong? But when you talk about Ros, and there are many other educators who have that experience as well.
Of course.
They actually have this expert, professional, scientific knowledge. And as a parent, you can't bring all of that, right? So thank you for bringing that up, because I think that's important for parents to know. Don't feel like you're failed. You know?
No, exactly.
No,
Don't feel like you failed, and hang in there. And school and that whole world is not a sprint; it's a marathon. Keep calm,
Yeah.
and also as a parent, it's, you know, your job is to be a parent, and sometimes you're not the best educator, even if you would have the knowledge, which I don't, because it's a complex thing, and the knowledge that spelt tutors have, or other methods that might work for people, you know, but it's a complex thing. So there's a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience that goes into the people that help Matthias. So you can't expect that of yourself, of course.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we've been trying to teach our kids, it hasn't worked out. It just becomes friction in the family because, you know, it's a different thing. The relationship, the parental relationship, right? But if you take education outside of that, things work differently.
Yeah.
I'm sure parents know what I mean when I say that.
Yes.
So that's a great thing. Hey, here's an expert who's got all these methods. Let's do that.
Yeah. And teachers really are, and you know, I know they're going through so much professional development as well at the moment to learn about this. And I guess really as a parent, it's then how do we support those educators? How do we find out what they're doing and how we can be consistent?
That's right, and that's not an easy thing either, should be said. Like finding what works for you, finding the method, and then finding the people or a person or an organization. That requires a bit of dedication, I guess, but well worth it, and I think that is the way to do it.
Matthias, what do you want to? Have you given any thought to what you want to do post school?
Or kind of, yeah. I mean,
or what are your interests? I guess what are some of the things that really interest you?
I mean, I really like making things. Like, I make things quite a lot. I'm not like super social. I am a bit of an introvert. I have to like recharge alone by myself sometimes. So yeah, I really like making things. So like, I don't know. Or even just like, I love science as well in school. So maybe something with the sciences. But then again, I really do not know.
How do you feel about your future, given, you know, you've had this support, and although you've had the sometimes challenge of dyslexia, how are you feeling just in terms of your attitude, I guess, towards the future?
I'm pretty happy, to be honest. Like, I know I'm not going to be super academic. School's pretty hard for me sometimes, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty positive. It's not
Awesome.
It's not a bad thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's not something to be scared of.
Was there anything else you would kind of want to remind families, or you would want to say to teachers and educators and the public about what dyslexia is?
Well, yeah, it's literally your mind just works differently. It's like your mind, you use a different part of your brain to solve a problem, which is a really valuable asset. It's to a lot of people and a lot of groups. It's like, you think outside of the box a little bit, and which makes it difficult when a school system is built for kids to do this, but then dyslexia, it doesn't want to follow that path. It wants to go around or whatever. But it's very difficult going through that path of school where it's meant for kids who aren't dyslexic.
It's not necessarily the mold, but
Exactly.
if you break the mold and embrace that, then look what you can make.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could say it's a gift, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that we've managed to get to, I feel, is that you are quite good at self-advocating.
Yeah.
Like saying, I need help with this, or this is not going to work for me, or can we do it in a different way? And I think that having the knowledge and understanding and self-awareness to recognize that within yourself is one step, and then being able to express it put it into words is another, and then having being not being brave enough, but like having enough courage to actually also lastly say it, to act on it. There's quite a bit to that, but again, some like all the tutoring that we've done and all the people that we've seen, of course, gives you the foundation to kind of know that it's nothing wrong with me. I just need this, and so that's a good place.
Is there anything you would like to say to Matthias in terms of how his journey has been and how you've felt about
to Matthias?
The progress that he's made?
Well done, dude.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like it's I think I feel it's almost like a family project or something. Like it's almost like it's a story. It's a journey of discovery. And like I said, I'm learning about myself and watching you guys progress. And yeah, I mean it is tied in with your creative output, I feel. Matthias got a lot of incredible projects, and it's like 3D printing and glue and tape and screws and wood, and it's just and it feels, I can't really explain why, but it feels like it's all one thing.
Yeah Amazing.
And it's wonderful. It's super cool.
It's my mind.
Yeah.
Well, I think, just from chatting with you both a few times, you're actually amazing communicators and very self-aware, and, I can see how creative you are, and I think for families who have maybe children who are younger and going through this, it's very reassuring and inspiring, I hope, to families to know that actually this is not a setback. It's just a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a different path.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for your kind words. That's lovely. I think, for us, or for me personally, finding that scientific viewpoint became my North Star in all this, because there's an emotional aspect to it. There's almost like a guilt thing as a parent, and endless worries. How is it going to work out? And what is going on? And what's, how can we help them? How can we change this? And then practical things too, just running a family, like how do we have the time, etc. But in all of that, for me, it was so good to find one strategy to lean or hang everything off. This is the plan, and this is what's working. and then everything else falls into place, because then you know this is the one thing that we're doing, and that was pivotal for me.
Yeah, and I think that's good advice to leave it on for families that look into the science and find the way that works.
And spell
for your
is a
child.
great place to start, I'd say.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you
you.
both for sharing your story. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course, yeah.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. If that topic was helpful for you and you'd like to hear more, please do like and subscribe. It sends me that feedback. School Shorts is all about supporting busy parents who want their children to thrive. Follow on social at School Shorts NZ for fun ideas, helpful resources, and exclusive giveaways.